Thanks for joining us on your lunch break if you have. My name is Mike Lillis. I am the country manager at Xcession. So we're going to spend a little bit of time today walking you through a webinar based on our experience with a client in the legal sector in the UK called Shoosmiths. I'm joined on the call by our CEO, Mark Twomey, and one of our senior technical consultants, Brian Coleman. So you can see the guys' profiles on screen. The key for today is to take away some of how we transformed IT for Shoosmiths and really made it a modern legal organization. So Mark will set some of the scene. He'll talk about some of the key elements that most clients are interested in the space, like increasing billable hours, very high time to value in terms of your investment in the technology. And then Brian will walk us through a customized demo based on a fictitious Irish legal firm, which will take you through some candidate common business processes and some of the extra cool features which are now available on ServiceNow. So Mark, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks, Mike, and hi everyone. Really good to be here. So just going to talk you through a bit of the journey that Xcession and Shoosmiths went on in relation to what we did with ServiceNow. So a bit of background to Shoosmiths. They are a leading UK law firm. They are known to be early adopters of technology, and they've got quite a tech savvy staff, and the people who worked there were really positive about what they want to do with ServiceNow. The reason why they wanted to move to ServiceNow was they had a legacy ITSM system that was no longer fit for the needs of what they wanted to do in the future. They needed a more modern ITSM platform that could scale with them, not just from an IT service delivery, but also to support other areas of the business, such as HR, facilities, and other lines of business that they wanted to adopt service management principles, right? ServiceNow also has the added benefit of AI embedded into the platform at all areas of the platform, so they were keen to adopt and grow with that as they move through this, right? Why did they pick ServiceNow? So on the market, it's the leading service management platform on the market. It's now the AI platform, the ServiceNow AI platform, as we refer to it, which contains many applications. But from an ITSM perspective, it's got the most mature ITIL processes that are easy to configure out of the box. You can get going very quickly with ServiceNow ITSM, right? The ability to extend beyond in ServiceNow, so having HR, which we refer to as HR service delivery, facilities, legal, finance, other areas of the business can grow and extend on the platform. And like we always say, ServiceNow is built for AI and automation, right? AI is embedded in every area of the product. It's not a bolt-on afterwards, like you see in some platforms. So this is really critical for Shoosmiths. Next slide, Mike. So the journey that Shoosmiths went on with Xcession and ServiceNow is kind of laid out here in kind of three different phases, okay? The first one was to do a rapid initial implementation that was done by our team to configure ServiceNow out of the box, get the platform set up from a foundations perspective, around foundation data, security model, some base integrations that are required from a foundations perspective, such as user provisioning, locations, etc. What we then did was we worked with them to configure the core ITIL modules, sticking very much to out of the box as much as possible where it met their requirements. If there were gaps, we addressed those, but tried to address it out of the box where possible. We introduced what's referred to as the Employee Center in ServiceNow, which is the self-service portal for all staff in Shoosmiths to consume services. This would include IT services along with other services in the future. And we integrated with Nextlink. Nextlink is a DEX platform that provides amazing telemetry on end-user compute devices, but also allows you to do bulk enhancements and bulk patching of devices very quickly, right? So in the initial implementation also, we did training for the IT staff, and we did video recordings for the end users, and they were very well received. Subsequent to phase one, after that was embedded for a number of months, a set of enhancements came up for phase two, right? And in this phase two, what we did was we embedded the AI elements of ServiceNow called Now Assist for incident management and change summarization. So these are really important ones. People really love summarization when it comes to saving time and being more productive when managing incidents with lots of reams and reams of notes added to it. We also deployed a virtual agent and integrated that with Microsoft Teams. And in addition to, we complemented their CMDB and asset management practices with the Intune and SCCM connectors. This was really, really important because it gives them a good view quickly of up-to-date information from Intune that they can consume within ServiceNow. The JML component of IT was redesigned with some new dashboards and reporting we did for this, and change management was enhanced and refined post the initial implementation. So it was really, really positive phase 2. Where they're going with this now on the platform is they now have a digital service management platform that enables them to grow. HRSD is on the roadmap, facilities and workplace management is on the roadmap, and continued AI and automation across each of those areas of service delivery are planned. What this also gives you then is that in the ServiceNow platform is the ability to start to do agentic AI use cases as they mature, and embedding AI into different workflows now as they throughout the life cycle of where they're going with the platform. Right. So the real saying that they have from this is they've got one platform that they have for IT and beyond, and they can extend it as they go. Thanks. Next one, Mike. So, like I said, what we delivered here on this was phase 1 and phase 2 is the initial implementation. Like I said, we set up the core platform foundations. Things like SSO, using Entra for provisioning of users, branding the incidents, making security policies are in place, like such IP restrictions, getting the foundation data right for departments, locations, people, groups, etc. These are critical as you move through the platform. Setting up the core ITSM of incident, problem, change, knowledge, service level management, and this basic assets with static asset data that we brought in from various different sources. Right. We started on their service catalog initially with about 10 catalog items, but that's growing out, and we did more work on that in phase 2. And then dashboards and reporting along with the survey. So all the key features of ServiceNow were embedded in phase 1, and deploying a new employee center, which is the self-service front door for all users to consume. All right. And then when we moved into phase 2, it really, really focused on embedding AI, using the virtual agent to enable users to self-serve, continued integration with the CMDB, Intune being a critical data source for this, and also the next thing, incident management connection, which enables them to enrich data, but also take actions from within ServiceNow, right? So it's one platform, but multiple actions occurring. And like I said, we also did a lot of process improvements. And because we always try to make our customers as self-sufficient as possible, we did a lot of work with them to enable them to monitor the platform health, what different types of checks that they need to do it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. We provided an upgrade run book so that they're able to upgrade the platform at least once a year, and they now own that in-house and they can take that forward. So all in all, very successful, and the team did a great job. From an outcomes perspective, so forgetting the technology and thinking about what's the real outcomes that are delivered here, Shoosmiths were enabled to get much better service, focusing on mean time to resolve, enabling to monitor and measure that, and looking at changes that they can make to improve that service as they go along. So there's consistent triage now and routing and resolution. So it's such an amazing platform that you can do all these things very, very easily, and our guys did a great setup for that. They've got self-service in place and a very, very solid base for the future as they extend out to ESM, right? So their future roadmap looks at HR service delivery, where all HR cases onboarding and taking that JML process even further than we did for IT, leading to cross-departmental workflows across IT, HR, and facilities for onboarding and offboarding, which is very, very important for a legal firm as is most firms today, and obviously using more and more AI across the application, which is embedded. We've enabled it, teach them how to use this, and they adopt it as they go along. Right. Thanks.
Very good. Thanks, Mark. So, folks, Mark has now set the scene as to what the tail of the tape looked like for Shoosmiths from project kickoff to rollout, successful support, and future phasing. So we spent a little time customizing a demo, not a huge amount of time, just a couple of days among some of our senior team, to try and create an Irish version of this, just with a dummy solicitors or fake solicitors. And we're going to run you through some of the very common processes now that would apply to most legal firms. And also we're going to layer on some of that excellent Now Assist piece, which is actually now part of the platform, folks. In previous versions, you would have had to add it as a phase 2, but now when you buy your ServiceNow license, it comes as part of the same. So Brian, I'm going to hand over the sharing to you. And if you want to take over control, and you should be able to drive from there.
Okay, thanks, Mike. I'll just share my screen. You can let me know if you can see that okay?
Yeah, that's coming through perfectly, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, hi everyone. All of you joining or listening in. As Mike says, I'm Brian Coleman, one of the senior technical consultants here at Xcession. So on this demo today, I just want to give a little preview of the expected running order for what we can expect to see. I want to take a look at Service Portal and logging a new matter service catalog item request in our fictitious legal firm. We want to look at some real service desk efficiencies that can be achieved with Now Assist AI skills. We want to look at some change risk management with Now Assist. I want to take a look at some CMDB in the platform, asset management, and some Intune data discovery that Mark mentioned. And finally, some AI analytics reporting with Now Assist and how that can fast track your reporting requirements and needs. So we're going to interact with 3 personas in this demo for this kind of fictitious legal firm that we've spun up, Dunn McCormack. Siobhan is a litigation solicitor. Patrick Dunn is the senior partner, and Fionn is the IT service desk lead. Just what I'm sharing with you before we look at the service portal that we've spun up is the out-of-the-box employee center portal that ships with ServiceNow. This just gives you an idea of what the baseline looks like, what the basic functionality is there under the hood, and basically the opportunity is there to use the platform and tools available to customize for your own requirements. So leading into from there into our demo instance, which is our landing page here for our users of Dunn McCormack. This is the employee service portal homepage, customized to company branding, bearing in mind that this is a demo instance and spun up in a short space of time, but hopefully you can see the possibility for how customization in terms of layout. We are looking at various things like the branding is applied, color schemes. We've got features here such as the announcements can feature in the banner of the portal, which can be displayed company-wide to end users. That can also be displayed through an announcement widget on the portal homepage, where those announcements can be kind of scrolled through. We have got a personalized welcome message for the user. So as the user logs on to their instance of the service portal, they will get that personal greeting. We're surfacing some of the kind of key information relevant to that user. For this user, it's 3 open requests and various open instances. Front and center, we have the Ask Now Assist help bar, where typically a lot of user requests will funnel through. So that's obviously key, we found to be kind of front and center. So prominence is important there. We have the taxonomy that sits behind the scenes, where you have the capability of defining what your logical taxonomy looks like for your organization. You can have various parent categories under which various child categories sit. You have the option of adding quick links into your portal, and these are typically commonly used items or frequently requested items where your users are fast-tracked to selecting those. As you can see in the My Items widget, we've got requests, incidents, approvals. These are all the kind of key tasks to surface to your users. So in the next context, so What we want to demo is Siobhan is a litigation solicitor heading up her own team. She's just been instructed on a corporate acquisition matter for a fictional company, Avoca Holdings. Heads of terms signed. She needs to open the matter and get partner sign off before she can brief her team. So typically this would have been, potentially an email exercise. It may be more manual, it may be more paper-based. What we've done here is demonstrated how such interactions and processes can be streamlined and brought online to the platform. We have created here a catalog item which requests all of the relevant information that's required to process this transaction. So I'm very quickly just going to submit this request. You can also utilize any other processes that you may want to integrate, such as, you may have a conflicts check. Has that been completed or not? You could link that into another process or another subflow in the platform. On the billing partner side, just in this example, the user list you're seeing has been filtered only to partners of the firm. So she selects the relevant partner, gives the fee estimate, and submits that request through the portal. And we should now see the details of the request. The request is the container record under which the RITM ending 008 is the actual request, which has gone through and triggered hopefully an approval to the relevant partner. All the details there on the right hand side panel. So if we switch through into another persona user, we are looking here at Patrick Dunn's service portal view. Obviously presented with the same information, personalized to him as the user. If we click through into the tasks, so we can see here we're getting a flag for a new task has arrived in the queue, and we can see that approval request has landed with all the relevant information. Patrick can add his own comment, approve or reject, or anything else that needs to be modified. Post that, go ahead and approve the request, and this then can trigger various other workflows, processes in the back end, whereby this matter can get opened, added into billing, and potentially integrate with other external systems that are in use by the practice, which again fast tracks and streamlines it. But here you can see you've got the full audit trail. The billing arrangement is clear. What used probably take quite a bit longer in terms of time commitment is now reduced significantly from, if not minutes to seconds, and there's a defensible record there of every step taken along the way. So that's the fee earner experience in terms of what the service portal can look like. Next, I want to start talking about into what the IT team and what their experience can start looking like. So I'm going to take you through into our third persona, which is Fionn, who's manning the service desk. And we are looking here at the service operations workspace. Logged in as the operator. So he runs the service desk at the firm. And this is the modern agent experience in ServiceNow for your service desk agents. Everything you see here is out of the box. It's not custom development. And that's quite an important point to make because, where IT teams are potentially small, they need the ability to customize, but they don't need the overhead of maintaining a heavily customized platform. So the customization and the ability to customize is a key factor. So this is the kind of landing page. You can see the work that is assigned to Fionn. the various list of unassigned incidents, the service level agreements that may be breaching, all of the critical information that he needs to do to get on with his day and week's work. He has a view into his team's work in various widgets that take him through into the catalog tasks, incidents assigned to the team. So we're going to have a look through into another area of service operations workspace, which is the various list views. And we can look at an unassigned incident here. We'll just pick one of these incidents and we'll go with this incident. We'll have a look at this. So we've just opened this incident, potentially sitting in the queue, getting chased perhaps, maybe getting escalated. In a typical environment, you know, the next few minutes after opening this record might be spent scrolling through the information, reading the description, reading every work note, as we can see here in this middle column, and this can grow substantially when you have various teams touching the record. We can check related incidents and related records if there are any. All of you are listed here on the left-hand side panel. We can review whether this incident, you know, has there been attempts to resolve it, has it been bounced to various teams, and potentially gets bounced back to service desk. So you can imagine that the detail on this incident can grow quite substantially, and getting to grips with it quickly becomes key to the efficiency of the team. So if you multiply that by, you know, X minutes per incident, by per agent, per incident per day, obviously that can take a significant amount of time. So if we look at the first Now Assist skill, and this is the Now Assist skill that can help in summarizing this incident, it can take all this detailed data. It's going to look at the full incident history, original description, all those work notes, even any related incidents from this caller in the last 90 days, and presents that information. Instead of scrolling through the whole record, you're now getting very key targeted information on what actually the issue is here. So, you know, filtering through the noise, what key actions have actually been taken on this incident to date, what the urgency is, what relevance any service level agreements are, and critically as well, what affected CIs and impacted services is. So this is directing the service desk to correctly assigning this, making sure it lands on the right desk in the right queue. And this is where we typically see significant improvements in certain metrics like mean time to resolution, and this skill alone can save each agent significant time in number of minutes per day. So there is that's meaningful capacity that's returned back to the team. So that's the incident summarization. I want to move on and look at the suggested resolution note. So once a fix is eventually identified, you have the option of resolving the incident itself. So you can add a resolution, you can add a resolution code, and you can then add a resolution note. And as you can see, there's a little icon there that has appeared because the Now Assist skill is active. And we can use that Now Assist skill to generate resolution notes for us. So instead of going through that route, I'm just going to go to the Resolve UI action button and going to ask Now Assist to help us generate those resolution notes. And again, this is drafting the resolution language based on how similar incidents in your organization have been resolved before. So it has that intelligence. It is providing us with the technical solution framed how we need it framed, as in the root cause identified, the resolution steps are clearly identified. But more importantly, this is taking the legwork out of the dense data, but giving the control back to the agent. While AI is doing the heavy lifting, we still have control over what actually gets posted here, and any edits that are made can be recorded in the resolution notes and resolved and logged to the incident. So that becomes an important control gate to ensure that your agents retain that level of control, and the analyst still decides what goes in. So speeds up you know, the action, the quality goes up, and the audit trail stays intact. So the final Now Assist skill I want to demo is around the knowledge auto creation. I'm just going to navigate back to my incidents list view. I'm going to go for a resolved incident. As we can see, this is a resolved incident. So most service desks have a knowledge management problem, or at least that is a common problem. Nobody writes articles because they're busy resolving tickets, and that's been the traditional challenge. So the knowledge base ages out, new starters can't self-serve, and the desk gets the same calls recycled. So that's obviously creates a lot of inefficiency. What the platform now supports is taking away the effort of creating that. So perhaps by adding on an extra 20, 30 seconds onto that resolution step as part of your process, you can look at creating a knowledge directly from the resolved incident itself. There is a guided setup that will take you through create a knowledge article. Well, where does that knowledge article need to sit? Well, it needs to sit in our knowledge base. Well, what knowledge article template do we need to use? We're going to use standard. Take that through. And again, we are leveraging the platform to help us assist in drafting a relevant article based on the platform data, not composed, you know, which, you know, quality may vary. Draft this with Now Assist. And a really key feature is the platform is now surfacing related tasks that are going to help us in creating this article and make it more relevant and make it more useful going forward. So by having a knowledge of what these you know, related incidents may have in common with our resolved incidents, we can continue with those, include the knowledge that we have on those resolutions into our knowledge article in drafting this particular knowledge article, and that article can then become part of the knowledge base going forward and address those issues before they become a problem again in quicker time to resolution. So that was 3 skills, 1 incident, and, you know, significant time savings on each, and this is what we've seen from implementing this. So I want to move on then from incident and Now Assist skills to our some change analysis. We're going to look at some a change scenario. So again, looking in our list view, and all of these are records in the ServiceNow platform. We've got our incidents, we've got our problem, we've got change, we've got various other associated issues, including our CMDB records, which we'll come to. But for now, we're going to look at change. Change, as you can see, those open, closed, or all, regardless of state. So we're going to open up our open changes, and I'm going to select a change here in our column filter. I'm going to open that change. So this change represents an escalation or a point where a critical fix is required. So where a critical cloud application has gone down, the impact is widespread. There's an iManage authentication service has failed, suspected certificate issue, and with that, every fee earner within the firm has lost access to every matter document. Various integrations are affected. There's no checkout, there's no Outlook integration, no Word. So basically, it is the highest priority incident you can have across the firm, with various matters that are currently proceeding and relying on this critical application. So an emergency change was needed. It needs to be approved, executed, and validated in a short space of time. And the people approving it need to actually understand the risk, and that's the challenge, not just nod along to a color code. As you can see here from the emergency change form, you can see a lot of rich information. You can see the risk categorization that the platform has categorized the change as. You can see the impact, the state of that change, and you can see the configuration item, which is the NetDocs application server, which is affected. There's a lot of information. It's quite dense. There's a summary of what the technical matter is. You're getting a view into scope and impact. Again, this could be as broad as it needs to be. Affected CIs, you could have services, business applications affected. You can have your related outages appearing here. We've also got the platform highlighting scheduling conflicts. So really key, scheduling what those conflicts look like and how we can work around and manage those. But the key for what we need to do for this purpose is looking at understanding what this, so the CAB, or the emergency change approver stakeholder, is going to need to understand in a short space of time, as a priority, well, what does this risk look like? And again, this is where the platform it's doing more, really. This is genuinely doing something difficult. It's reading the change record, the plans on screen, it's reading the risk calculator's output, it's looking at the CIs involved and any conflicts. It's taking all that information and it's assimilating it. So you can imagine the value that can create in a live customer environment where there's years of their own change history feeding that analysis, and the output is giving you a very targeted key summary. You're going to see the key business impact. It's referencing the matters that are underway. So these are the various completions and the actual business impact. It's pulled out those signings. It's looking at the practical risk. So from a technical fix, what would be the impact? It's named the specific failure. It's looking at the potential risk identified in similar change requests. In this case, it hasn't identified any, which is also a good thing because AI is not fabricating that data. But if there were similar change requests affected, you could expect to see them there. And the CAB, or the approver, has one key screen surfacing that information and making an educated approval rather than rubber stamping what appears needs to happen regardless. So that's the value in change risk assessment through Now Assist skill. And we move on from there, where we want to have a look at some CMDB CI records, some Intune integration, and what that looks like on the platform. So I'm going to take you through into CI Class Manager, which is the Explorer tool, I would kind of describe it as, which assists you in navigating the CMDB in ServiceNow. So the CMDB in ServiceNow is the configuration management database. And this basically represents all your configuration item records, which is your network infrastructure, your devices, your CI records. Those could be business services, service models, your computers, your end user computing devices, your server estate. All of those are CI records, and all of those, if they're properly configured, will end up or sit in the correct CI class or the CI table. So if we look at the computer class, you can see there are 859 CI records currently in that class. We'll open up that table. The CI class manager gives you a basic info on what that table, its purpose, what data it contains. I'm not going to go into the technical aspects of this. I want to show the actual data itself. So if we look at the CI list, there are a number of records. So I'm going to open one of these. One of these is what appears to be a laptop record. So this is a laptop CI record. This is assigned to our senior partner, Patrick Dunn. As you can see, it's got its correct name, it's got an asset tag, it's got its serial number, which was discovered. It's got key information around its operating system. It's got Windows 11 Enterprise. We can also see, which is really key as well, is the discovery source, which is Microsoft Intune in this case. And that is through an integration with Microsoft Intune, which is pulling all of that, all of those user devices into ServiceNow. We can see when the most recent discovery happened, which is a key piece of information as well on monitoring, device staleness and managing your asset management lifecycle. We can see a descriptive note here saying this is managed via Microsoft Intune. And additionally, we've got useful information around the software applications that are installed on this particular device, which is really useful to know in terms of what your software estate it looks like. So for each device that's being discovered in this way, we've got a list of its software application that it's running. We've got the name, the product name, we've got the version, and we've got the install date. So this is like your foundational data for your software asset management, but really good software application inventory data to have in the platform as well going forward. So we've got the CI record. We've also got and this Intune data is demo data. We've mocked this up, but in a real implementation, we connect ServiceNow Discovery through a Service Graph connector to Microsoft Intune or many other discovery sources. So on this drop down, you can see that there are many routes in from a data source perspective for routing the data into ServiceNow. The key point becomes that ServiceNow is your source of truth for your CI and asset management as a CMDB source. And this CMDB 360 data related list, which won't contain any data here, but if you had multiple data sources feeding in, you will see multiple sources here feeding that data in and which source updated what. You can manage that in the platform. It's about having the right structure and rules in place. So from a CI perspective, we also have an asset management perspective. And we can see here we've got a related record on this particular CI, and that's an asset record. So this basically sits alongside or can sit alongside your CI record. And the purpose of the asset management record is to manage the financial aspect of the asset or device itself. So that's separate to the operational life of that device. So operational being the operating system, the asset side of it being, when was that purchased? What state of its asset life cycle is it in? It's in use. It may be retired. It may be on order, in stock. Who that is assigned to, its serial number, its financial details, the cost of that, what cost center it's associated with or it's costed from as a purchase, or what expenditure type is it associated with. And some of the key points to mention here on asset and CI. Often asset and CI inventories exist in manually maintained documents and spreadsheets. This is what we commonly see. And it becomes then more of a challenge in maintaining that going forward. So we strongly recommend, that the data that's going into CMDB is using integrations, that it's automated. And some of the kind of key tips and tricks that we kind of have seen from experience is a bit of planning up front really helps on the CI strategy and the asset management strategy. And by that, I mean, it shouldn't matter whether an asset or a CI is created first. One record can create the other. But what does need to happen is that both of those records need to reconcile cleanly. So if you have a lot of manual data, a little bit of thought needs to go in, well, how is that data properly brought into the platform? So ensuring that data aligns seamlessly, regardless of whether an asset record or a CI record comes first, is one of the kind of key planning decisions up front. Trick is not to build it manually, integrate and automate. That's what we advocate. So that is a lot of what I wanted to show around those data records in ServiceNow around asset and CI. I think I'll now move along and take us into the final demo scenario, which is the AI analytics piece. So I'm just going to navigate to the Now Assist panel. So we can see here I'm on my instance. I can navigate to the Now Assist panel. I can launch that panel. So really the AI analytics is, I think, a really key enhancement and value adding feature. It gives the service desk ability it's in their hands to monitor how they're performing using AI analytics, querying the data in the platform. So where traditionally that may have needed a development resource or a request to, you know, gather the requirements for what reporting needed to be built, go and build that report, build a dashboard, get sign off. With AI now on the platform, that has moved more to a conversation. So in this example where, you know, the service desk agent may need to get a view of his own service desk or her own service desk, the AI can build that report in plain English, save it to a dashboard. We can very quickly build a dashboard here, and really supports a small team who can answer their own questions about their own data without it being a wider request. So what I'm going to ask now Assist to do is look for a count of incidents over a period of time. So I'm going to ask it to create a data visualization. And I'm going to ask it to create a count of incidents. I could say by priority over the last 30 days. I could say by assignment group, whatever I want to slice and dice that. And while
I think Brian, while that's making its way through,
I mean, you think,
yeah, the key for stuff like this is, I mean, it really enables a service desk manager to be very self-sufficient on the fly versus the, you know, the monthly cadence of standard KPIs. This allows interim reporting and management the same, doesn't it?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. So I'm here just taking that graphic. You can see the AI has created that. I'm going to create a new dashboard in the interface. As you can see, there it lands. There's that report. You have the ability to edit that report. You can change the reporting graph, what that looks like, pie chart, donut, whatever graph you need to represent the data. You can sort it, you can add conditions, you can group by priority. You can change the data source. You can edit the dashboard. So we'll call it DM Service Desk. We can save that. And, you know, the possibilities for the types of data you can ask for is really quite impressive. You know, you can start looking for things like, you know, aggregation and ranking and grouping. You know, tell me the top 10 affected business services by incident volume for this month, or the number of incidents by assignment group for the last 30 days. You can do some, you know, volume trend by week for the last 3 months. And again, the more data you have, the more insights you're going to gather. I'm just going to show one final report, and this is kind of where it's taking, you know, reporting just another step. So I'm going to ask it to create a data visualization for me. I'm going to ask it to look at show me the configuration items with the most incidents in the last 90 days. Any are still open. So that's a relatively complex query. If we give that, so that's a plain English prompt again. As we saw in the last example, the AI understood 3 parameters. In the previous, it understood to look in the incident table, to look at the priority field, and it was a time relative query, give me the last 30 days data. So it's doing that seamlessly, no condition builder, no SQL, and in a similar way here, it's built that query. If we navigate to view those details, this is giving me a very insightful list. I would say this is a very insightful prompt, and you know, it's up to your own creativity in terms of the service desk to decide what their key indicators are. But it's combining 2 things here. It's combining incident volume plus the current open count into one chart grouped together. You can immediately see what CIs are causing the most incidents, how many are still open, and that immediately highlights you into, well, that CI needs attention, and you know, that directs resources. And I suppose really that's kind of where AI moves from just answering questions to surfacing these problems and getting ahead of problems. So that becomes basically, your agenda topic for your weekly meeting, or for setting those action points for the team, and using AI to extract that information quickly and seamlessly. So that's really all of the kind of demo scenarios I wanted to walk through on this session. Just to recap, we saw the service portal and the new matter service catalog item. We saw the service desk efficiencies with the Now Assist AI skills, the change risk management with Now Assist, CMDB asset and Intune CI records, and the AI analytics reporting with Now Assist.
Great job, Brian.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. And I think, particularly the last step, if you think about what you may have to do in your current organization, going across multiple tools like Intune, Landsweeper to collate that kind of data, the power of the platform once you get your correctly configured CMDB speaks for itself. So thank you very much for putting that demo together. So folks, we're at a wrap. The next piece is, what steps can we take together to actually review your business and how ServiceNow can assist it. So what we'd like to do is set up a discovery call, work through your specific business requirements and define the specific set of outcomes for your business. And that'll just involve a quick 30-minute to 1 hour discovery call. We'll follow that up with a proposal. And then if it's appropriate for you and your business, we can press on into the kind of implementation that Mark would have talked about at the top. It may not be the same size and duration. It may be shorter, it may be longer, depending on your needs, but that's what we'll spend our time educating you doing in that particular step. So folks, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I want to thank Mark and Brian for their input in the session itself. And my details are on screen, as you can see. I'll be sharing the video with all of the people who both could make and couldn't make the webinar. And I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Thank you very much, folks.
Thanks, everyone.